Thank you all for joining us. Well, I think it is 10 o'clock, so hello. My name is Pam Franks, and I am the walk coordinator for the GBS-CIDP Foundation. And it's my pleasure to be with you this morning, and thank you for joining us for our 2020 New Jersey Virtual Walk and Roll. Here today with me is Sierra Morris, our development manager. Hi, Sierra. So we also have our development manager, Madeline Miller. And let's see, oh, Laura Blair, our CFO. We've got some of Sue's family with us as well. We have Lisa Butler, she's joining us shortly. So thank you, everyone. As everybody's aware, COVID-19 has made a significant impact on our communities. The current situation in many states is not allowing for in-person events. So the health and safety of our members and event attendees is always of the most importance. The foundation continues to remain steadfast in its support to our patients and their families. And as a result, we have turned the New Jersey Walk into a virtual fundraising event. We're here today to raise funds and awareness for the thousands who have been impacted by GBS, CIDP, and the related syndromes such as MMN. This would not be possible without the fantastic support of our volunteers, our sponsors, our donors, and of course, all of you for making this a reality. I would like to thank our national sponsors, as it's because of their generous support that we're able to be here today. They include Grifols, CSL Behring, Kedrion, Takeda, and Soleo Health. Really quick, I just want to thank all of our 2020 teams. I want to acknowledge the top teams for their hard work and stellar job fundraising. Team Tom had a total of $6,523 raised. Aaron Strong had almost $1,500. Liz's Butterflies had $150 raised. Grace for Graciela had $41, and Team Runnels had $25. And the top individual fundraiser was Katie Muty with $600. Thank you guys so much. That's awesome. In a day and age where there's so many causes to give to and charity events to attend, we want to thank you for choosing and supporting the GBS-CIDP Foundation. Did you know that our foundation is a Charity Navigator 4-star rated charity? Now, what this means is the foundation's committed fiscal responsibility that we exceed industry standards and outperform most charities. So you can feel pretty good about where your money is going. This year, we are very excited because again, your walk donations will go directly to support our research. Our research initiatives include developing methods to more rapidly diagnose GBS, CIDP, and their variants such as MMN. Developing more effective treatments to limit the syndrome progression and to prevent complications and reduce long-term adversities, and identifying mechanisms involved in the pathogens of family disorders. Just want to tell you really quick about our patient registry. The GBS-CIDP patient registry is a dynamic participant-driven resource that can empower and unite the GBS-CIDP community through shared knowledge. Registry participants complete surveys of their own disease experiences. The foundation will ensure the data privacy and confidentiality and are strictly maintained. Participation in the registry is free and voluntary, and participants may withdraw at any time. And you can find access to this on our website at www.gbs-cidp.org, and it'll be at the top. You just click for the registry. Now, I would like to turn this over and introduce our incredible chair, Sue Salzmann, who has hosted this walk now for 7 years, single-handedly raising over $100,000 for the foundation, who will tell you a little bit more about our New Jersey walk. So Sue, thank you very much. Yes, yes, hands.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's really not me. It's everyone who comes. It's everyone who donates. I am more than thrilled to do it every year, and I'm always overwhelmed with how generous everyone is. And it's always an emotional time for me because my whole family comes to the walk to support their dad and their grandfather and their brother-in-law and uncle. He just was someone who brought our whole family together, and we miss him a great deal. What I'll miss this year is seeing all the familiar faces, people who come every year. We tend to see the same families and the same faces, and always new families, which unfortunately, we do see. But it's just so wonderful. It's incredible how much everyone, because every year you think, oh, is everyone's going to start to forget and not support us, but good friends, good family, they do come and they do show up and they do support. And we are there for those who are going through this. And that's why this research is so important to me, because I really do not think that if we knew more when Tom was going through this, that, he could possibly still be here with us. But so the research is so very important. But hello to all of my family. I can't see you, but I know you're there, and I love you all so much. And I will share, a couple of years ago, I did question whether, we should kind of step back and let someone else take over. And my grandchildren just said, "Oh, you can't do that, Grandma. You can't possibly stop because it's for Grandpa." So we'll keep plugging as long as we can. We will.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled that we hit our $10,000 mark. I am just so happy and so thrilled. It's wonderful.
Thank you, Sue. Now, I guess we should, wherever you are, I know it's not a cloud in the sky here in Philly, but it's a great day to walk. So we're going to count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's walk. Force the habit. So right now, what I'd like to do is I would like to introduce you to representatives from our first sponsor, one of our national sponsors, David Liebhauser and Debbie Manning, who is a nurse educator, and they will tell you a little bit more about Grifols.
Thanks. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Just want to make sure before I started. Thanks for inviting us as usual. It's always great to take part in your group. I've been there live probably the last 5 years. So
Absolutely.
For the people that don't know me, my name is Dave Liebhauser. I'm the local New Jersey sales representative with Grifols. I've been with the company for 16 years now, promoting Gamunex, which is our product that is indicated for CIDP. And I've been calling on neurologists since 2009, educating them and engaging with them on patient identification and obviously the benefits of therapy here locally and mostly in North Jersey, but I have covered all the areas of the states over the years of the state. Grifols continues to support the GBS-CIDP Foundation, and we greatly appreciate the foundation's commitment to patients and families. I want to give a special shout out to the planners of this meeting, obviously working quickly and nimbly to get this thing accomplished. That's a great effort. One other note, with the current COVID and the pandemic situation, Grifols is at the forefront in looking for treatment and therapies through our research into COVID-19 and a hyperimmune force, the SARS-CoV. I believe our clinical trials are starting next month, so it's just something to keep your ears attuned to. And I do want to introduce Deb Manning, who's with our IG nurse educator team, which we have around the country. She's joined us today, and she will talk to you a little bit more about what she does. But thank you, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi. Just making sure you can see me.
Yeah, yep, we can hear you.
Okay. I am so grateful to be a part of the GBS-CIDP virtual walk. Thank you so much. My name is Debbie Manning. I am a nurse educator with Grifols for 2.5 years. I previously worked with Children's Hospital Philadelphia for 29 years, working with immune deficient patients. And I really was able to see how IG therapy really did help change these patients' lives. My role as nurse educator today is to educate about immunoglobulin therapy with nurses, pharmacists, and physicians. It is so important to be aware how immunoglobulin therapies are different in the way they are manufactured, the properties that they contain, and the rates of administration. Immunoglobulin therapies are not made to be interchangeable, so working with healthcare professionals on how to safely administer, calculating the correct dose, and educating the patient regarding side effects are just some examples. I still feel that I am close to working with the patient today because I want the nurse that will be administering your immunoglobulin therapy to have the expertise to be able to educate you, the patient, about the disease state, the current immunoglobulin therapy that you're receiving, and to advocate on your behalf to empower you to have the best clinical outcome possible. I just want to thank the GBS-CIDP Foundation for allowing Grifols to say a few words this morning. I hope everyone continues to enjoy the program and has a wonderful walk. Thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Maureen Su. Dr. Su is a member of our Global Medical Advisory Board, a Foundation Research Grant recipient as well. She's joining us this morning to explain the importance of research and how it benefits patients living with GBS-CIDP and their variants, such as MMN. So we want to thank you and welcome Dr. Su for joining us at an early time, since you're joining us from the West Coast. So thank you, Dr. Su.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So thank you so much for having me. And as you just heard, I am a researcher who works on GBS and CIDP. I'm a full professor at the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA. Go Bruins. My lab works on trying to understand what causes GBS and CIDP. So we know that there's something about the immune system that goes awry, and instead of fighting off infections, it goes and attacks the peripheral nerves. But what actually starts this? What actually keeps it going so that the immune system doesn't realize it's doing something that it shouldn't be doing and shut off? We don't really understand. And until we understand it, I don't think we're going to be able to come up with better cures or treatments for GBS and CIDP. So my lab is really devoted to trying to understand what causes GBS and CIDP in order to come up with therapies. And also, as you heard, we received a 2014 GBS-CIDP grant, and that's really what accelerated our research and allowed us to continue on. And so I thought I'd just take a few minutes this morning and explain to you kind of the mechanics of why the GBS-CIDP Foundation is so important, how it fits into the way we fund our research in general. A lot of people ask me, how does research even get funded? You know, who's actually funding research and how do you even get into this field? And so I thought I'd just take a few minutes to explain that to you, because it's kind of interesting how this all comes together and how kind of, you know, you just have to have things fall into place at the right times for you to even be able to continue to do research as a scientist and as a doctor. So I'm actually a professor in microbiology immunology, as well as pediatrics. I'm an MD. I'm trained in pediatrics. I was actually, I went to Harvard Medical School, and then I trained at UCSF, the University of California, San Francisco, for my pediatrics residency and fellowship. And then I moved to University of North Carolina to start my faculty position back in 2010. And about 2 years ago, I moved to UCLA to actually join my husband, who got a job in LA. So it's actually been across many different parts of the US, and I think we're hopefully gonna stay here in LA for a bit. Okay, so I put together a few PowerPoint slides. I'm gonna share my screen now, and I hope it works. Oops, can someone actually enable the screen sharing? No,
I'll get you.
it says disabled. So you have to go to that multiple participants.
Yeah, no,
thing.
you should be able to.
Yeah, that worked. Great, thank you. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, great. Okay. So let's see if I can actually go forward. All right, so one of the big questions that I often get is, how does medical research usually get funded? And the answer is the federal government. And in fact, the National Institute of Health, or the NIH, is the largest public funder of biomedical research. And they currently fund more than 50,000 competitive grants. So we do really rely on the NIH to get big grants so that we can hire a lot of staff and really power up our research. There is different institutes within the NIH. One of them is actually devoted to neurological diseases. It's called the NINDS, or the National Institute of Neurological Disorders. And within its wheelhouse, within its wheelhouse is a GBS and CIDP. So they are given the task of trying to further GBS and CIDP research. And one of the big issues with the NIH, at least for us researchers, is that the pay line currently at the NINDS is 16%. And what that means is that of the grants that they receive, 16% of them actually get funded. That's actually a better pay line than it's been in the last 10 years. It used to be like 8 to 10%, so it's now gone up to 16% with the recent budgets that have been passed by the federal government. But what that means is that we have to write 5 grants for everyone to get funded, more than 5 grants, 5.5 grants for everyone to get funded. So we spend a lot of time writing these grants, and they're not just 1- and 2-page grants, they're greater than 100-page grants that we have to put together. So I think one of the things that a lot of researchers will talk about and you'll read about is that we spend a lot of time writing rather than doing the research. And it's really not how you want to spend your time. You really want to be there trying to figure out, what is causing this disease and what we can do to stop it. So if you actually go into the NIH database, there's a public database where you can search and see what they're funding. I put in the words Guillain-Barré and CIDP, chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, to see if they're actually even funding these grants, right? And there are grants that have these keywords in them. So 62 grants are associated with the words Guillain-Barré. If you look more closely, though, most of these grants are actually focused on understanding how Zika virus works, and Zika virus infections cause Guillain-Barré rather than Guillain-Barré itself. So it's not the primary focus. Guillain-Barré is not the primary focus. Zika is the primary focus. So the 62 grants, I think maybe 1 or 2 might be Guillain-Barré primary focused. And then for CIDP, there are 13 grants, and we're actually one of the recipients of one of those grants. But of the 50,000, you can see that it's really a small proportion of grants that are funded by the NIH. And so a lot of us put in grants for GBS and CIDP research, but as I told you, on average, we get about 1 in every 5, and they get reviewed among a lot of other grants that deal with neurological diseases like MS, which has a lot more funding than Guillain-Barré and CIDP. So I also wanted to just spend a couple minutes talking about who actually performs the medical research. The people who run the labs looking at GBS and CIDP tend to be MDs, PhDs, and MD PhDs. And a lot of people often ask me, like, how do you even get to the point where you're running a lab? There's different ways to get there. MDs usually go to medical school for 4 years, and then they do a residency in medicine or pediatrics. I did a pediatrics residency. And then they do another fellowship where they do research and they specialize in what they're going to work on for another 3 to 5 years. So it's a pretty long road before you can actually get your own faculty position and start your own lab. PhDs go to graduate school, and that takes somewhere between 4 and 6 years, where they write a thesis with a faculty member. And then they usually do a postdoc fellowship, which takes another 4 to 6 years. And among those, the best of the best get a faculty position and start their own labs. And then there's those who want to do it even harder and get an MD PhD, which is a combined degree. And usually it's a medical school for 4 years, and then graduate schools for another 2 to 4 years. So it's a pretty long haul. So 6 to 8 years right out of college. And then residency and fellowship, sometimes you can do those a little bit faster, but they also tend to take another 5 years or so. So the people who come out of this who are given the faculty positions are really well trained. But you can also see how at the end of it, when you first get your faculty position, people are thinking, what I want to work on needs to be fundable, right? It needs to be able to get the financial support in order for me to actually hire people, buy reagents, get things going and all that. So, I could apply to the NIH and try to get one of these funds, but these grants, but it's a pretty, pretty low chance that you'll get the first time you try. So this is where the foundation comes in. So the GBS-CIDP Foundation can bridge that gap for a lot of people, and it's where it bridged the gap for me. So when I was starting out, trying to think, is this going to be viable? Can I actually fund my research in the future on GBS and CIDP, or do I need to switch what I'm interested in altogether so that I can get money? This is where the foundation stepped up and said, here's a grant to get you started. So we obviously need more research in GBS and CIDP, and we need more researchers in GBS and CIDP. And so the foundation gave me a $60,000 grant right when I was starting out. And it helped me to get the data that I needed to pursue a project that we later got funded with federal dollars by the NIH. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what kind of research the foundation funds, and you'll see from the titles of these projects that they're very focused on GBS and CIDP. They're not, focused on something else like Zika. And then, by the way, we're also going to look at how GBS is affected, but they're really focused on GBS. These are the 7 grants that were funded by the foundation for 2020. And I won't read through all the titles, but for the bottom 2, for example, there's a grant that's looking at peripheral nerve ultrasound to look at Guillain-Barré syndrome diagnosis, right? So very focused on seeing if we can actually improve diagnosis of Guillain-Barré. And the last one, precision medicine in CIDP, in chronic inflammatory neuropathy assessment. So trying to use precision medicine approaches to understand how to treat CIDP. So really focused on GBS and CIDP, and that's really helpful. And then who gets funded? So you can see that the 7 grants come from all over the world. 2 of them are from the US, North Carolina and Michigan. It's really actually one of the really special things I think about GBS-CIDP research is that we have collaborators across the oceans. There's people everywhere who are working on this, and we can really work with each other to try to better understand what's going on with the immune system. Okay, so since 2004, 60 awards have been given out by the GBS-CIDP Foundation, totaling $4 million. 15 young investigators have been funded, and as I just told you, I think that's one of the really critical areas that that GBS-CIDP funds. And one of the strategic plans for the foundation is to now go the next step and to request proposals for more developed projects. And these are going to be called discovery grants. They're going to be bigger grants than what was given out previously, $100,000 per year for 2 years, so that we can take the research that was started with these seed grants and move them to the next level so that we can be starting to fund things that are more mature and more likely to work out as a first or second step toward getting a treatment or a cure for GBS and CIDP. Okay, so I think that's it for me. If anybody has any questions, I am happy to field any. I don't know if there's time for that, or we can also have you contact me if you have questions.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Dr. Su. we wanted to make sure that everybody understood, you know, why we walk. So I think we have a better understanding of what the research initiatives are. So thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Next, I want to introduce you to Christine Sambuco and Joel Medevsky. I'm sorry, Joel, if I butchered your last name. They are account managers from CSL Behring, and they're here to tell you a little bit more about CSL Behring. Christine, Joel, welcome.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. This is Christine, and it's Joel Madievsky. Don't worry, he doesn't care that you butcher his name at all.
I do not.
No, he does not. Sue, first of all, I would just like to recognize, you know, thank you for again having CSL. Being there last year for the first time with my daughter, and I know with Joel being there too. It's just a remarkable story that you tell, and all of us here are just so thrilled to be part of it and glad that you continue to do it. You are surrounded by a great community and a great family, so keep up the good work. And to everybody else that we know, met, Jim, Pam, it's nice to see some good faces again. So again, thank you for having us. Again, Christine Sambuco and Joel Madievsky, we are the local representatives in your New Jersey area for CSL. We promote Hizentra to the neurologists in that area, which is the first and only subcutaneous IG treatment for CIDP. So we're excited to be here with you today. What I'd like to do is share my screen and just kind of show you a little bit of the resources that we offer for your patients, for those diagnosed with CIDP. And, you know, as long as we're not walking in person, we're here walking virtually. So if I could share my screen, let's hope that works as well. Tell me when it comes up.
Yep,
You got it?
you're good.
Okay, so can we see the Hizentra continuing support page?
Yes.
Perfect. So CSL really does pride themselves on the services that we offer patients with CIDP, and this is for any diagnosis. But as you can see here, our Premier Start program is our patient trial program. Patients who are currently on IVIG and would like to trial Hizentra free for a month are able to do so. They get free at-home nursing visits. They get trained by a nurse. Just an incredible, smooth transition way to get experience to the product before completely switching if anyone has questions or is interested. Our CSL Behring Assurance Program is a tremendous program where it actually helps patients continue to receive their treatment should they have a lapse in their insurance program. If anyone is currently on a CSL product and not currently enrolled in this program, we strongly encourage you to get enrolled. For every 3 months of therapy that a patient is on product, they bank 1 month of free product. CSL is very unique to this program. And unfortunately, I think it's highly underutilized. So we really strongly encourage those patients who are on CSL products or specifically Hizentra to enroll in this program, especially in the times that we're in today with so many people who may have lost their jobs and had an interruption in their insurance program. This would have been a tremendous backup plan for them, if you will. Moving forward, we have a voice-to-voice program where patients can actually talk live with another patient who is going through the same experience. They can talk about their Hizentra story and how they got to you know, where they are today being on Hizentra for therapy. And then of course our copay relief program, it is up to $5,000 a year with no monthly cap. So again, another very, very vital program to patients with CIDP. If I have just a quick minute, there's one other page I wanted to show. And this is our patient speaker program. And this is an online registration. Now, just to reiterate, Hizentra.com is where all of this information is. You would click on, obviously, CIDP. And then all of the resources and all of the tabs are at the top. It's very user-friendly and easy to navigate. But this specific page is where patients and family members can actually register online to watch a live educational program where You can hear from a trained nurse who will talk about the administration process of Hizentra. And of course, you will also hear from a patient advocate who can share their journey and how they got to be on Hizentra therapy. So another great resource. And as my dog is going to probably start singing to us, I think that does it for me. So thank you again for having us. We really, really are so thrilled to be part of this, tremendous program. And if there's anything we can ever do, always reach out. Joel and I are very accessible. So thanks.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Really quick, I want to head it over to Carolyn Hearn, who will tell you a little bit more about our national sponsor, Takeda. Carolyn. Carolyn. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. You know what? We can try to come back to Carolyn in a little bit. Wait, are you there? No, okay. All right, so next I would like to introduce you to Mr. Jim Yadlon. Jim is the Northeast US Regional Director for the Foundation, a board member, and also a former GBS patient. Jim, good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you very much for doing this awesome virtual walk. I know I've been to, I believe, most of the New Jersey walks, and again, congratulations to Sue and her family for another tremendous contribution year. Team Tom and your family is awesome. Just a quick story about last year. I pulled up to the park last year, and I was an hour early. So I sat there and I realized I was an hour early after some research, and another half hour passed. So about a half hour to go before the start time, and there's nobody there, and I'm wondering, am I here on the wrong day? What's going on here? And all of a sudden, in the distance, I see this caravan of SUVs coming. Like the old Western movies where the dust, you see the heroes coming to save you, and here's this caravan of SUVs all pulling up, and all of a sudden, there must have been 20 of Sue's family members and friends and grandkids and family and kids and in-laws coming out, and within 30 minutes, I think even less, maybe even 20 minutes, that place was set up and ready to go. I was speechless. I couldn't believe what a phenomenal job they did. So again, congratulations to Sue for her 7 years of $100,000. I just think that is just unbelievable, which leads me to what I'm asked to talk about, which is volunteerism. And of course, Sue is one of our volunteers. We have many ways to volunteer. We have the liaison program. There's 133 chapters in 22 countries. The United States has about 100 chapters. They're managed by liaisons, and the liaisons are responsible for doing 1 to 2 meetings per year. I don't know how many of you have been to meetings, but they generally last about an hour and a half to 2 hours. There's generally between 10 and 50 people there. There's a speaker, usually a professional, to talk about one aspect of medical care or a part of hopefully something to make your life better, plus more of an understanding of what you've been going through. And we also have a lot of camaraderie. A lot of people know each other from past meetings. And at every meeting, there's always a couple of people, maybe 1 or 2, that have never met anyone who has had GBS or CIDP before. And that is an eye-opener, because these folks, patients and their families, are just beyond thrilled to meet somebody who's gone through what they've been through. And it's very rewarding. That's one aspect. Then we have the point of contact, which is similar to a liaison, but they're not obligated to do meetings, but they're there for support. In New Jersey, our liaisons, I should mention this, we have 4 liaisons in New Jersey. There's myself in Central New Jersey. There's Gina Sharpley in Southern New Jersey. We have Sheila Blaine and, oh my God, my brain. I'll think of it in a minute, up in northern New Jersey. Chris Orlandi, I'm sorry. Chris, I hope she's not watching. She's going to be mad at me. But Chris Orlandi up in northern New Jersey. And then we have another 4 or 5 points of contact spread throughout New Jersey who are there for questions. There's also the referral program in which anyone who contacts the office with either an email or a phone call are assigned a liaison or a point of contact depending upon where they live. We try to find someone who's the closest to them in case there's a visit requested, which is the next part of being part of a volunteer, is that we visit patients, active patients in hospitals, which can be a very interesting experience for both patients, caregivers, and of course the liaison or the visitor. Most liaisons, I would say over 90% of them, are former patients who've been in the hospital. They know what it's like to lay in that bed. And going back to a hospital and visiting someone who's in the same situation they were can be a very emotional experience. So it takes a lot of courage for our volunteers to go into these rooms and kind of revisit their past. Some have no problem with it and some do, but they do it. And I visited 4 in one day, and I tell you, it was a tough day because 3 out of 4 were uncommunicative, and and so it was really, you're talking to them, and they're not responding, but you know that they're listening, and the point is to show them that people do recover. And that is sometimes the hardest part of being a patient, is you don't know what's ahead. You don't know what's coming the next day. But if you see someone who's been through it and is standing in front of you in reasonably good health, moving around, walking, talking, it gives you hope to know that you are going to, you have a chance of recovering as well. And most do. CIDP patients is a different story. We have a lot of CIDP liaisons who can explain very carefully what it's like to go through that, which is obviously an ongoing lifestyle of care. And it's quite different from GBS, where GBS you recover, you move on, where CIDP is and for a lot of folks, for the rest of their lives. So that's part of the visit is a huge part of it, and it's wonderful for their families as well. The families really get hope and realize that their loved one laying in that bed can get out of there pretty soon, hopefully, and get back to normal. Just a quick story. I had GBS, a real severe case, in 1973, which was 8 years or 7 years before the foundation was started. And my wife and I were newlyweds, and we were on about 4 months. And boy, I tell you, we sure could have used Estelle Benson and Bob Benson at that time. That would have been tremendous help to my wife to find out what was ahead of us and where we were going. So it's really good to be the volunteers to have the foundation and have the volunteers visit people in the hospital. And then we have the next group, which is Sue Salzmann and her family, who do specialty volunteer. They do once-a-year events. They do whatever they do best to raise some money for the foundation or make some lives better somewhere along the line. So being a volunteer is a very rewarding and very rewarding experience. And if you ever decide you want to try that, just give the office a call or myself a call, and we'll see if we can help you get started. But the GBS Foundation, the GBS-CIDP Foundation is a shining star for those who've been through it and are going through it now. So bless you all for helping out.
Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you for all that you do for all of our patients and their families. Like Jim said, just go ahead and visit our website, www.gbs-cidp.org, and we do have a volunteer page where there's a short survey that will help us guide you to where you want to volunteer. So now, I guess maybe we should check and see if Carolyn?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, hi. Hi, Carolyn is here from Takeda to give us a little information about them. So Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you while I work through my technical difficulties here. That's the new world we work in, right?
Yes.
But good, good morning, and I'm happy to join all of you today. My name is Carolyn Hearn, and I'm here today on behalf of Takeda, one of the other corporate sponsors today for the virtual walk and roll. And this is my first time joining. I came over to this piece of the organization within Takeda just about a year ago today. So this is my first opportunity to join all of you, and I'm super pleased to be here. And just to think about the work that you're doing to raise money to help with the research challenges and opportunities to overcome the challenges of living with GBS, CIDP, and these other variants like MMN. Specifically at Takeda, we feel like we have a natural connection to organizations like yours, like this, who are really working to improve people's lives through progress in medicine and healthcare. We feel like our innovations and specifically our hardworking team of researchers who are working to discover different therapies to help treat this and groundbreaking therapies to treat GBS, CIDP, and the variants are just so important. And you inspire the work that we do every single day. We feel like research is what spurs all of this innovation to discover how to better diagnose, how to better treat these kinds of conditions. And so at Takeda, we are just honored to be able to support the researchers and to support all of you who are living with these conditions. I really want to take a moment and thank the GBS-CIDP Foundation for bringing us together to raise this awareness in this area, because we do have this shared vision of really providing patients with access to early and accurate diagnosis, as well as treatment and support, because that's what really drives our passion each and every day. So I'm sorry that we're physically apart. I would have loved to have been there in New Jersey live. But I'm inspired and humbled to be here today with all of you. And thank you for the couple of minutes to say hello and introduce Takeda to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. We appreciate it. Next now, I would like to introduce you to Rob McCune, who is the IVIG and Albumin Brand Director, who will tell you a little bit more about Kedrion. Rob, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Rob's unmuted, but we cannot hear you, Rob. Oh, there you go. Maybe. Let me. Rob.
How's that?
Hi, Rob. How are you? Sorry about that.
I'm doing well. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can see your screen and we can hear you perfectly fine.
Beautiful. Okay. You know what? I just connected through the computer and I'm glad that worked. So let's go ahead and use that then. Well, thank you for that introduction and good morning to everyone. It's a beautiful day here in Maryland, and I believe that New Jersey is experiencing a beautiful morning as well there. And I wish we could all be together live, but this is certainly a nice platform to connect and conduct this event. So nice job all around. As mentioned, my name is Rob McCune. I'm a brand director at Kedrion, and I'm actually joined today by one of my colleagues, Eric Olson. Eric is a territory manager on our sales team that lives in New Jersey. So he and I are joining everyone here this morning. And we just wanted to just say hello and tell you a little bit about sort of who we are. Kedrion has been very active in this community for a number of years, and we always love the New Jersey event. So we're very excited to be with all of you here this morning. So you might have seen the Kedrion name in the past. Kedrion is a family-owned biopharmaceutical company with roots that trace back decades and decades in blood plasma. We're actually a company that's based in Tuscany, Italy, which is pretty cool. And our U.S. headquarters are in Fort Lee, New Jersey. And these are pictures from some of the previous walk and roll events that we've done over the years. So starting from left to right, DC, and then Maryland, and then Conshohocken outside of Philadelphia. And then on the far right, I believe that was the event in San Diego. And the nature of our company is really to help people live healthier lives. And really, people are at the core of our activities. And all of our actions are shaped by the determination that we play to really play a positive role in the lives and communities with the patient communities that we touch. So we really do strive to be pioneers, advocates, humanitarians, and global citizens. And this was brought up before. I mean, certainly the global challenge that's in front of us today with COVID-19 brings an opportunity for Kedrion to really be at the forefront of research and advocacy. And we do that through plasma collection. We're developing future treatments for COVID-19. And again, we're very active in the GBS and CIDP community. And I know that we don't have a ton of time here this morning, so I just wanted to maybe call everyone's attention to our corporate website, which is listed, on the next slide here. So if you're interested in learning more about Kedrion Biopharma and who we are, the products that we have currently on the market here in the US, as well as the research that we're doing into COVID-19 treatments, please take a minute or two and check out our website at www.kedrion.com. And I really appreciate the platform to say hello to everyone here this morning. And I just wanted to end on a quote, which is one of my favorites. It's actually an ancient proverb, and it reads as follows: "It is better to take many small steps in the right direction than to make a great leap forward only to stumble backward." So we're all here today taking steps toward greater health and disease management, a stronger community of healing and hope, and building connections in these uncertain times. And at Kedrion Biopharma, all the work that we do is really fueled around helping our patient communities. So that's why our vision is so in line with that of the GBS-CIDP Foundation. And we've really enjoyed close collaboration and partnership over the years, and look forward to that for many years to come. So thank you all for being here today. You inspire us to keep doing the work that we're doing here at Kedrion Biopharma, and I know that we're all making a difference in the big picture. So thanks for your time here this morning.
Thank you, Rob, so much. And if anybody is interested in any of our national sponsors, we can also, at the end of this video and on our website, give you links to get to their information as well. Our final national sponsor, unfortunately, they weren't able to join us today, but they did send in a quick little video that we would like to show you right now from Soleo Health.
Hi, I'm Anna Orlistico, the Regional Business Leader for the New York branch of Soleo Health. Welcome.
I'm Abramowitz-Fuchs, and I'm the Director of Business Development and Strategy for Soleo Health. I want to thank the CIDP GBS community for allowing us to be part of your work today and for including us in this very special day. Stay safe out there.
Hans Expandel here from Soleo Health. We've been open during this pandemic and will continue to safely support our infusion patients in their home. Stay safe, everyone.
Hi, I'm Kurt Steinberg with Soleo Health. I want to thank all of our first responders, Soleo Health's nurses, pharmacists, all the doctors out there. We wish we could be walking with you today, but stay safe.
So before we wrap up, I want to talk about the last pillar of our foundation, which is advocacy. We've been able to grow our advocacy program to include a full-time program manager, which is Ms. Chelsea Fix. We've created an advocacy action portal where people can easily, quickly send a letter to your state and local representatives to support legislation and the effects of our community. And you can learn more about our medical home infusion bill that we're currently trying to work on getting passed. We also have many more Hill Days planned where patients can join with other patients and industry members on Capitol Hill to meet with representatives and share their GBS or CIDP story. I invite you to check out more on our website at www.gbs-cidp.org/advocacy. I know I butchered that, I'm sorry. I want to thank everybody who has joined us today in celebration of our New Jersey Walk and for raising funds and awareness for research to help all of the thousands of patients living with the challenges of GBS, CIDP, and their variants such as MMN. I want to thank you all again for the participants and our national sponsors for speaking with us this morning. To Sue, to all of you who joined us.
Can I say a shout out?
Sure, yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
To Maddie and Jake and Zoe and Finn and Jane and Owen. I know some of them are on, and I just wanted to say hi and thank you guys for always being there for me. And I also wanted to mention, which of course I didn't mention before and I meant to, my husband was a science researcher his entire life. And so all of this is extra special and means so much to our whole family because he devoted his life to research, not GBS and CIDP, but to medical research.
Thank you, Sue. Just an encouragement today, since it's so nice here, and it's nice in Maryland, and it's nice in New Jersey too. If you or your friends and family want to take either a picture or a quick video of walking, we would love to see it. So go ahead and just send it in. You can send it to either myself or Sierra. My address is pamela.franks@gbs-cidp.org, or just post it on our walk page. Sierra, do you have anything else you would like to add?
No, thank you so much for coming, and thank you again for everyone who decided to speak and our national sponsors.
And again, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. I know it was kind of early, especially Dr. Sue. Thank you so much. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.